All right, let's just start ripping into these bastards. Psych. Fake out. Not. Sorry, everybody. If you read the description, then you know today is not the day we're opening the hoard, but today is the day that we have a little pre-hoard opening discussion about the pre-order paradox, let's call it, just for alliteration purposes, because it's not really a paradox, but I wanted to give my point of view on the whole Magic ordering product experience. Obviously, prices are high for things right now, and I am not someone who is well-versed in the printing or distributing or selling or reselling, investing side of Magic. I like kick-ass artwork and playing the game. So my 2 cents are worth nothing, but my experience seems in some ways to mirror, and of course in other ways not, a lot of experiences that I'm reading about and seeing online. Maybe there's some knowledge to be gleaned from all of this, I don't know, but take from it what you will. So, as I've stated before, I came into this set with the knowledge that it was going to be a big deal and probably sell out. I've talked elsewhere about my experience with Final Fantasy as a consumer commodity, and I know 3 things for sure about this. Number 1, Final Fantasy fans will buy anything that is branded Final Fantasy. Number 2, they will pay a super premium price for it. And number 3, they will pay that price whether or not they actually have the money for it. Now, you combine that with Magic, which is obviously very popular and right now on the rise in both price and popularity. And I'm not surprised that this became the best-selling Magic set of all time just in the pre-order phase. I am a little shocked because prior to it actually coming out, most of the online chatter that I saw was your typical, fuck Wizards, fuck Square Enix, Universes Beyond isn't real Magic, blah, blah, blah. Sidebar, again, my opinion, worth nothing. But if you want to talk about Magic changing, that didn't start with Universes Beyond or even the collector's boosters. It changed in 1999 when Hasbro bought it. It went from being a game made by game designers to a product pushed by the marketing arm of, humongous billion-dollar corporation. So I kind of ignore those Universes as Beyond as the death of Magic comments. It's tired, uninformed take. 40 people playing the pre-release I went to last month, and they were all having a great time. And if that's what Spider-Man and Avatar do, or if that's what Edge of Eternity is, and the Lorwyn Eclipse set is like, then the game that you love lives on, and it is what it is. People vote with their wallets, and even in this economy, people are spending a nutzoid amount of money on Final Fantasy Magic. And it's not just people trying to win the golden lottery ticket with the serialized chocobos. It's a lot of things. It's a collector's psyche, which is probably its own topic that we can discuss sometime, combined with a very popular IP, Final Fantasy, combined with a very popular and widely available game, Magic the Gathering. So you stick all of that together, perfect storm for this environment to happen where people who are into it want it, people who want it to flip it want it, and a lot of people who are upset at the conditions of not being able to get what they want and or it costs a lot more, still wanting it, and there's not enough supply to satisfy that demand. It's a huge amount of demand versus supply right now, and at some point, it will normalize for people. I'm not against people reselling and getting money for their product. There's plenty of Magic cards out there that are worth a penny or less. And the fact that right now, the Final Fantasy cards are highly sought after, commanding huge prices because people want them, that is all a good thing, in my opinion, both for Final Fantasy and Magic. But let's talk about the actual ordering of the products, because that's where I think some of the issues with the prices and most of the issues with people's feelings and chatter and negativity online are stemming from. Just based on what I've seen lurking in the comments on subreddits and Instagram, watching YouTubers, seeing the comments on their videos, a lot of this is based on FOMO and people not pre-ordering when they had the chance. Not all of it, but a lot. And even some of this frustration is coming from people who did pre-order it when they had the chance and the prices were low and they're still not getting what they paid for, or at least pre-ordered and said they would pay for. So let's dive into it. Like a lot of people who are excited for this to come out, I got that email night of February 18th, popped on some online retailers, some big box stores, my OG LGS, some other local game stores with an online presence. In the end, I ordered one of every sealed product that was out there, minus the collector editions of the Commander decks and the single Omega booster box that they sell in the big box stores. But, play booster box, collector booster box, regular Commanders, bundle, gift bundle, another pre-release, starter kit, and since then I've bought regular boosters in stores, and I even came across this thing, which I didn't even know was a thing until I stumbled across it, this Play Pack promo box that was for sale at a Walmart. So for my sake, I'm happy that I got everything I was looking for. It came in when it said it would. And had I pre-ordered everything from a local game store I had a relationship with, I might have had all of this a lot sooner. Like I said in that video, there were a lot of people at the pre-release picking up especially Commander decks and stuff that they had already pre-ordered. But, this thing, the thing that is commanding the most attention right now for the most part, my man Jay hooked me up with this, took a pre-order for me early on, before he knew and I knew exactly how much it was going to cost, and I got in early and paid less than a third by far than what I have seen people spending on it right now. And the only minor snag I hit in this whole operation was this gift bundle, which just showed up today, July 7th. It was supposed to show up July 1st, and the last of the pre-orders, ultimately everything came in. But here's the rub. Here's the thing about pre-orders. You have to commit to this stuff when it comes out. I have pre-ordered a lot of different things. Media, action figures, bootleg t-shirts. You are always running, to a degree, the risk that you're going to plunk down money on something and never see the other side of what you supposedly pre-ordered. I've done that with a Kickstarter that I backed, and that never came to fruition. We'll talk about that sometime. But I lost that money. I'm never going to see it again. Now, that's less likely to happen when you're talking about a proven, established product with a mega corporation, but there's always that chance, right? So you cast those pre-orders out in the world, and in this case, you hope that they don't cancel on you when the price skyrockets so that they can relist it and resell it for more money. That's always an issue when you pre-order with some unproven source, which is why I think LGS should really stand for Loyal Game Store, because even if they don't know their allocation or how much they're going to get from their distributor, even if they don't get all the product they were promised, and then you, hence, don't get it, they aren't going to screw you over. They don't last long doing that, whereas scalpers, resellers, etc., they can do whatever they want with impunity and anonymity. So one solution to that is you cast a wide net, right? You set up pre-orders in multiple places. That's a very common thing in the toy and action figure world. You up the chance that one of them is going to hit and show up at the door, and as soon as you know one's on the way, you cancel the rest of your pre-orders. Now, I have a slight issue with doing things that way, because even though you aren't doing that to scalp per se, you're kind of creating that same environment that they operate in, because you're taking up multiple spaces or allocations in a set quota of product that a store or a person has, and then you're shutting off those opportunities for other people down the line when you really just want one of them, but you're pre-ordering, 3, 6, 10 of them, whatever. Great example of that is the Secret Layers debacle. So you put an asterisk next to, I ordered every sealed Final Fantasy product because Secret Layers is the one I didn't. And I mentioned it in another video, but that situation was such a complete fucking disaster. It bears brief repeating. Just answer me this. Would you rather spend all day in some mysterious queue to buy something you want, and then, sorry, fuck you, you didn't get it, or know that you're going to be able to order something when it comes out, and that it is going to show up, you just don't necessarily know when that's going to be? Well, I personally would take the second one every time if I wanted something. So this model that they have now of keeping people in a queue all day with some arbitrary system of who and when they allow in to buy, and then those people, of course, are going to gobble up the maximum allocation that they're allowed to buy. Meanwhile, you're sitting there for hours watching shit sell out with your hands tied to the keyboard. That blows. I'm not cool with that system. Outside the realm of the Final Fantasy pre-orders, I'm never fucking with Secret Layers again. I wasn't really interested in it too terribly much until Final Fantasy, and that experience is ensured that I never will be. It's a miserable bullshit experience. Sounds like a lot of people had another miserable bullshit experience at MagicCon with their boosters. I wasn't there, so I'm not going to speak out of school on it, but go look that up, read some stories. Sounds like that sucked too. But the other side of the coin, though, is this. I see a lot of whining, and it is whining. I was just whining about Secret Layers because I wasn't lucky enough to buy it. I'll call myself out. But I see a lot of stuff that I think is extreme, like, oh, this game costs too much to even play. Hasbro doesn't even care about the fans. Wizard doesn't care about the players. I wanted this so much and I couldn't get it. You need to commit. And before you commit, you need to have a hard discussion with yourself about the thing that you're committing to buying. Because if you don't have the money for the thing that you want, it's this simple. You figure out a way to save for it. Figure out the amount that you need, maybe a little bit extra for something like this where the price can be volatile. You figure out how much you rake in from paychecks or gigs or however it is you make your living. You do some very simple budgeting on how much disposable income can I rat hole away every time I get paid to eventually afford this thing. And that's whether it's a house or a car or a bunch of fucking cardboard and plastic. Nothing is too expensive if you plan for it, but you do need to be realistic with those expectations in that planning. There's a vast difference between what is now a $1,200 box of Magic cards and a six-figure luxury car. You know, you have to be realistic about the want and your plan that you come up with. And you have to do your research. I was brand new to this world of Magic pre-orders prior to Final Fantasy. Before this, I just waited till it came out. I got what I wanted because I was into it, but I was not as into it as I was for Final Fantasy. And I think a lot of people probably feel that way. You know, had I been back into Magic when other universes beyond things like Warhammer and Fallout were coming out, or when Transformers cards were popping up in Brothers War, you know, I might have hopped in on this whole pre-order game earlier because that's the kind of stuff that interests me. And for other people, it's going to be Spider-Man or Avatar, or it was Lord of the Rings or Doctor Who, or it's going to be the next Universes Beyond that comes out. But you have to do your research about the products, who sells them, how much they typically sell for, where you can get them, and ask your local game stores, your loyal game stores. You know, they may not be able to guarantee you anything, but they will put your name on a list, and if they have it, they will sell it to you. Again, they don't make their bread and butter screwing people over. Yeah, that's why my man Jay didn't roast me on this box. He absolutely could have, and I probably still would have bought it from him because it's him, but he didn't do that to me because he knows I'm coming back to buy more stuff and to keep the whole wheel turning, right? And I'm not saying all that to gloat that I got that box cheaper than other people got their boxes, but the opportunity was there, and I figured out where the opportunity was and I took it, and anybody could have done that. This is another side to that pre-ordering coin, and it's the only time I hope I ever advocate for the man when it comes to big box stores and online retailers. If you want something and you know they're going to get some of it, you can pre-order from them too and see how it all shakes out. Yes, it would be much better to spend your money locally. It makes a bigger impact. It goes farther. It keeps your local stores in business. It's a nicer thing to do than just giving Bezos and the Waltons more of your money. But if you want what you want, then you have to look for where you're going to find it. And that's my issue with it costs too much chatter. First of all, like I said earlier, the opportunity was there to pre-order basically any of this stuff. Maybe not the single booster box, but I haven't even seen anybody only buy one of these. You know what I mean? And the other problem with it is, and I've said this on other posts, it costs what it costs. And that's what people are willing to pay. You have to take your emotions out of it and accept that that is the reality. It's a cold reality. You have no influence over it. But if you pre-ordered this Final Fantasy shit when they went on sale at a big box store, at a local store, and you received your order, you could have locked this thing in, I think it was maybe $3.99 on Amazon, if I'm remembering correctly. That's a third of what it is now. You could have bought 3 of those for what they are now. And that was less than 6 months ago. But if you're getting FOMO about it, and you're waking up to things late that you missed the boat to get in early and get in cheap, that's not the fault of anybody who manufactured the product or anybody else who was there early to buy the product. First off, you know whose fault it is. And before you start pressing your buttons based on feelings, you need to ask yourself if the thing that you want is something you want for real, or if you're just wanting to scalp it, or you're feeling the FOMO of it, whatever. But you have to investigate your reasoning. And if it's not your definition of pure, maybe it doesn't need to take up space in your brain or your soul. And if it is one of those pure wants, it's just some junk that I want, then you figure out a way to get it done. But again, the cold reality of any kind of this collector garbage is this is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. I said this before too. The people who aren't interested in this do not care. Those of us who are interested in it, of course we want it to be cheaper. Why the fuck wouldn't we? We all want things to cost less, whether it's groceries or gas or figures and cards. But the third part of it is, if you're not willing to pay the price and somebody else is, then they'll buy it, and enough of that makes the price go up even more. That's just how it is. It's not intended to be exclusionary. It's not a plot to destroy Magic the Gathering, and it's not that shit is so limited you can't find it anywhere. I have seen these play boosters, not every time I go in a store, but I have seen them in game stores, big box stores, online. They're out there. And, these are going to get reprinted. So if you want it, you can find it, and you can spend your money on it. You will get something. And if you're a collector, then you can buy singles online, overspend on boxes, whatever you need to do until your heart is content. I hope if anyone's listening to this and they didn't have a game plan for the next thing like this for them, whether that's Magic or something else that comes out, I hope it gave you some ideas about how to prepare. I went into this on gut feelings, knowing nothing else other than the crowd that was going to be interested in it, and that I wanted some of it for myself for my collection. So I made those decisions before I knew anything about serialized cards that were going to be going for 5 figures online. And look, if you aren't new to the channel, then you've seen me open PAXX and you know my luck. There's no way in hell there's a serialized Chocobo in that one collector box that I'm buying. But it wasn't about that for me. My decisions aren't more pure than anyone else's. They're just my personal philosophy I had when it came to this set. And I decided I'd do what I could to get what I wanted. And if I can do that, anyone can. I'm not a wizard at buying any of this stuff online. No pun intended. I'm also not lucky at anything. But if you want something, then you just have to figure out how to get it. Now, it's not going to stop people bitching about the price or complaining about universes beyond ruining Magic. It's also not going to make any of the prices come down or change the fact that Spider-Man is basically unavailable everywhere right now. But for sane, rational human beings who don't have a shopping or gambling addiction and maybe didn't know how to navigate this space, I hope it gave you some ideas on how to do so. That said, the next video will be opening this whole goddamn hoard of shit on camera, and we are going to have a hell of a time doing it. Until next time, my friends, peace.